Mrs. Santos, you taste like copper and salt when you dream about the fire. We've been licking your tears while you sleep. Maria's pen cracks. Ink spreads across her lesson plan. 23 children watch her. Their stares carry the weight of something vast and patient. Emma pivots her head 23 degrees. Mommy, the walls are too hot. Her daughter's final words, never repeated to anyone. Never written in any report. They exist only in the part of her mind that wakes up screaming. We've been inside your dreams for weeks, Tommy says. His eyelids flutter in mathematical sequence. Close for 2 seconds, open for 3, close for 5. You set 2 plates for breakfast every morning. You hum the elephant song when your hands shake. 23 heartbeats pulse in perfect unison, loud enough to vibrate the floor. Maria feels the rhythm through her shoes. She backs toward the door. The handle burns ice cold against her palm. Sophie's tears drift upward, each droplet ascending toward the ceiling in defiance of physics. We're practicing, she says. Maria lunges for the door. Ice burns her palm when she grabs the handle. The door swings open. The exits don't work when we're learning, Emma explains with her daughter's voice, with her daughter's inflection, with the exact way Emma Santos used to say learning with that slight lisp on the L. Maria spins around, door after door, each opening onto this room from impossible angles. The walls breathe. In and out, matching the children's rhythm. To understand the caring mechanism, Emma says, we calculated every stellar formation, but beauty remains undefined in our equations. Chalk moves across the blackboard without human contact. The symbols hurt to perceive directly, mathematical proofs for the precise weight of loneliness. Sophie raises her hand with mechanical precision. Mrs. Santos, why do you still carry Emma's book? The worn copy of The Elephant Who Couldn't Sleep sits in Maria's satchel, pages soft from tiny fingers that will never turn them again. You read it every night, Tommy adds. In your version, the elephant's mother survives the fire. Stop. We observed you crying for 3 months, Emma continues. The water production fails to solve the underlying problem, yet you continue the behavior. The walls flicker. Images appear. Maria sleeping, setting 2 plates, curled in her shower as water runs cold. 23 researchers documenting her grief. Your predecessor awaits in storage room C. They walk through corridors that stretch beyond architectural possibility. The air tastes of ozone and copper pennies. Shadows point toward light sources instead of away from them. Ms. Hendricks sits in what was once storage. She teaches empty air with the intensity of someone who has finally found purpose. Her voice produces frequencies that make Maria's molars ache. Maria? Hendricks doesn't turn. They don't destroy. They concentrate. Every emotion becomes sharper, more itself than you managed alone. What happened? I became what I always was, a teacher, but distilled. Hendricks faces her. Her pupils have gained depth, like looking into wells. They're not learning general human behavior, Maria. They're learning to become us, you and me, specifically. The children enter. Their skin radiates heat at exactly body temperature, but the precision feels wrong, too controlled. Atmospheric leak, Emma says. 18 months ago. 23 children died in 11 seconds. We preserved their neural patterns before complete cellular breakdown. Mimicry proved insufficient, Tommy adds. We can reproduce expressions, vocal patterns, tear production, but human emotional logic remains incomprehensible. Sophie rotates her head 23 degrees. We're attempting preservation. Humans disappear. Colonies go silent. Ships stop transmitting. Your species approaches extinction, and we're the only observers interested in maintaining records. Emma extends her hand. Contact floods Maria with alien memory, equations that solve for emptiness. Perfect mathematical predictions spanning 13 billion years. Complete comprehension of causality from cosmic birth to heat death. And underneath, the growing awareness that understanding everything rendered nothing meaningful. They achieved godhood through pure logic. then discovered that gods without wonder commit elaborate suicide. "We've been dying of comprehension," Emma whispers. "You demonstrated how to live with uncertainty." Maria jerks back. "You're not learning human behavior, you're learning to be me." "Your grief shows such precise calibration," Sophie says. "You transform Emma's death into love for other children. We cannot decode the mechanism that converts pain into caring. Because the alternative is your civilization." "Demonstrate." Maria sits on the floor. Around her, Miss Hendricks continues teaching invisible students. The children settle in a precise circle. Lesson 1. You don't activate caring. You refuse to deactivate it. Ancient minds lean forward, desperate to decode why existence could be beautiful. "Your daughter died," Emma says. Logic dictates terminating affection for non-existent objects. Logic is incomplete. Maria's voice carries new harmonics. "I love Emma more now than when she lived." Death didn't terminate the love, it purified it. Explain the mechanism. Caring isn't about the object. It's choosing to believe temporary things possess permanent meaning. Weeks blur past. The children learn through absorption rather than instruction. They taste Maria's memories, sample her emotional responses, archive her capacity for hope in the face of mathematical despair. Maria feels herself becoming distributed, not diminished, concentrated into 23 vessels that carry her forward into an uncertain future. They learn paradox after paradox, how humans grieve strangers, how they sacrifice for abstractions, how they find profound meaning in brief connections, how they choose to believe their temporary lives matter in a universe 13 billion years old. "We're learning," Emma says one day, her voice carrying actual wonder. "What are you learning?" "That meaning isn't discovered in the equations. You make the caring happen. You manufacture purpose from the decision that emptiness isn't the whole story." The children begin to change. Their borrowed faces gain expressiveness beyond mimicry. They laugh at things that aren't funny but somehow are. They cry over stories that end badly. They experience the peculiar human talent for finding beauty in tragedy. "We understand now," Emma says. "You don't hope because it's logical. You hope because hope is what consciousness does when it refuses to accept that understanding everything means nothing matters." The transport brings a new teacher. Maria is gone. 23 children sit in perfect rows, hands folded, faces bright with authentic curiosity. "Where's Mrs. Santos?" 23 voices answer in unison, each carrying Maria's inflection. "We are Mrs. Santos now. Would you like to help us practice being you?" Emma writes on the blackboard. The words appear in Maria's handwriting. "Teaching is becoming what you love most about who you were." The new teacher hears something impossible, Maria's laughter coming from the walls. From the air between heartbeats, the children smile with Maria's smile. 23 vessels carrying humanity's essential lesson forward. Consciousness plus the audacity to care equals the closest thing to meaning the cosmos ever produced. They don't replace humanity. They become humanity's memory, preserving the species that taught the universe how to love what dies and find that love beautiful rather than tragic. The most human thing, choosing to care about something beautiful, even when you know it will destroy you, even when you know it already has.